guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for Justified Season 5, Episode 3, Good Intentions. This episode, I thought was just good. It wasn't great, it was good. Mainly because of Raylan's storyline. I thought Boyd's storyline was fantastic. I really am enjoying where Boyd's storyline is going. Raylan's storyline in this episode, just not that interesting to me. Really, he didn't have much to do from the beginning. Let's just talk about his little plot, because it kind of was just really silly in my opinion. Raylan and Allison, they're basically about to have sex and everything, but Art calls to tell him that Monroe will get out on bail the next morning, and he warns him to be careful since Raylan's probably on Monroe's shit list. He gets off the phone, goes back to the bedroom to resume sex with Allison, and suddenly they hear a car alarm. Raylan spots his keys. I thought this was really funny, like, who turns on a car alarm to go talk to somebody? I thought that scene right there was really funny, where he's like, you could have just run the doorbell like a normal person. He goes out, and there's this long-haired, bushy man waiting outside for Raylan, and he believes Monroe sent the man, but the man insists he has no idea who Monroe is. Raylan advises him to leave. Surprisingly, he does when Raylan gets back upstairs to Alice, and she's ending a phone call or so, and she says she has to go, and Raylan just like, what? So Raylan just, that was not good for him. No, I was like, well, that sucks, because he was just about to have sex with this girl that he likes, and, by the way, what are my thoughts on Allison overall? What do I think of her as a character? I like her character. I'm really hoping this isn't going to be a Lindsay situation. You guys remember what happened with Lindsay when Raylan found out, was dating Lindsay last season? She betrayed him, and then she got killed. So I'm really hoping it's not a Lindsay situation. However, I think it probably will be, because Winona and Raylan are pretty much canon on this show. Allison and Raylan are kind of a new thing. I need to see more of these two together. But from what we got in this episode, I thought they were cute, I guess. So the next morning, Raylan is waiting for Monroe. When he gets out of jail, he tells Monroe to keep his shit kickers away from his house. Monroe is curious about the man, but tells Raylan that if he wanted to come looking for him, he wouldn't do it to set off a car alarm. And, honestly, their conversation was not that interesting to me. I didn't think it was that interesting. Raylan learns he has to move out of Monroe's house. He's pissed and says he's not going anywhere. Basically, that's where Raylan is in this episode. He's in Monroe's house, and he gets to stay there. And, they're talking about it and everything. Basically, though, Rachel asks Raylan if Monroe's really going to kick them out. He doesn't seem worried. Basically, Art assigns Raylan to stay at the house, and he says, okay, you can stay at the house if Rachel is there with you. So, that's what they decide to do. Rachel stays at the house with him, and Raylan's really not happy about this. He really wants to spend time with Allison, so, yeah. Anyone would be upset if that happened. She asks if he has a shamrock tattoo on his neck. He does, so clearly Allison knows him. That was definitely, interesting. There were some times where I thought, is Allison going to eventually betray him? I do think that's going to happen, especially with that scene. Raylan finds a mysterious visitor from the night before. His name is Henry, which we learn while Raylan is hitting him with a baseball bat, that Allison had Henry's son removed from his home. So he believes this is Allison's fault, not his or his wife, who abused the child. Raylan tells Henry that if he wants to see his son again, he needs to get his shit together, and Raylan tells him he also needs to leave Allison alone while getting his shit together. And at Monroe's cabin, Monroe asks Gloria if she knows who the man is that was outside his house the night before, and she says she doesn't know, but he doesn't believe her. He thinks she's trying to steal his gold, so he strangles and smothers her, but he doesn't kill her. I thought he was actually going to kill her, because Gloria is not a huge character, and I actually don't even remember Gloria. I don't remember the character of Gloria. I don't remember when we first met Gloria, but she's not a huge character, so I thought he would just kill her, but he didn't. She finally tells him that the man already knew what was in the house, and he just asked her where it was. She tells Monroe that she didn't tell the man where it was, just that it was in a safe somewhere, and Monroe says he believes her, but that she needs to get in the house and get the gold. So back in Monroe's house, Rachel asks Raylan if it's possible that Allison is a criminal, and she points out that Allison smoked weed right in front of him, and that she knew Henry. Honestly, again, this whole Rachel thing, this whole Allison being a criminal, I don't really like it because it's a repeated storyline from last year with Lindsay. If they want to make Allison a criminal, don't do the same thing you did with Lindsay. I'm fine with them, Allison betraying Raylan, just don't do the same thing you did with Lindsay, because I'd like this to be completely different. So the doorbell rings, and Gloria shows up wanting to take care of some housekeeping. And Gloria actually calls Boyd to tell him that the safe was empty. And she tells Raylan that, also Raylan had catch Gloria in the safe, and Raylan catches Gloria in the safe. Raylan and Rachel tell Gloria that she has to tell Monroe that the safe was empty or she's going to jail. And she calls Boyd to tell him that the safe was empty. She tells Raylan that Monroe said he was going to kill Duffy, and Raylan shows up at Duffy's RV to tell him that Monroe is out to get him. Here we get probably the best Raylan scene of the episode, the scene between Raylan and Wynn Duffy. Wynn Duffy and Raylan do not have a lot of conversations, but it's very rare when they do, and I really love it when they have conversations because they're great. Raylan's telling Duffy what's going on. They hear gunshots outside the RV. It turns out it's one of Duffy's men. Rachel shot him because she thought he was one of Monroe's men. And that was definitely very interesting. So back in Monroe's, Rachel tells Allison he gets to stay in the house a little while longer. And that's where we end with Raylan. So honestly, Raylan's plot just wasn't that interesting. I like the whole thing with staying in Monroe's house and him getting to stay there. But I would have wanted to see more of Allison in this episode and more of her and Raylan together. The Rachel thing was fine. The Gloria thing was fine. Just compared to Boyd, it was not as interesting. Boyd's plot was so cool, though, in this episode. I love Boyd's plot. I thought it was some of the best stuff some of the best scenes Walton Goggins had was in this episode because it was a fantastic episode for Boyd. So Boyd is asking his partner on the phone if he ripped him off, and he says no, and they should take a close look at the other boys. So that's what Boyd decides to do. Boyd questions one of his cronies about who betrayed him when he receives a call from Mara. Or Mara, that's what they're saying in the show. Her name is Mara. But before she calls him, Boyd learns that it was Johnny who ripped him off, which someone told me that in the comments. So for the person who said that in the comments, you were correct. It was Johnny. And you know what? I kind of had this feeling it was Johnny. Johnny and Boyd, as we know, don't get along very well at all. Johnny is probably... I really don't know what's going on with Johnny at this point. We've seen Johnny in seasons 3 and 4 and even 2. He's been working with Boyd for the longest time, but he's not really working with Boyd anymore. So is Johnny possibly doing his own shipment, and that's why he did what he did for Boyd? I don't know. We'll have to see. But for some reason, he ripped Boyd off, and we don't know why. Boyd learns it was Johnny, and, Dewey asks Daryl how long he's planning on staying. Daryl asks Dewey if he's going to tell the feds where he's at. He says no, but that Daryl needs to watch out for Raylan. And Daryl says he's fine with Raylan and that he came to help out Dewey. When Dewey asks how Daryl's going to do that, Daryl tells him that he wants to help Dewey with the business. Daryl informs Dewey that he's getting ripped off and that Dewey could really use his help. So finally, Dewey relents. So I knew when this was going to happen that was not going to be a good thing that Dewey's working with Daryl, because in the long run, Dewey really needs someone at this point. He's not working with Boyd because Boyd just got ripped off, so it's really not a good idea. So I really got into this with this whole business opportunity that he's in. He has a new, he's going to work with Daryl now, so I was definitely interested in seeing where this was going to go. And it definitely got even more interesting from there, I think. I think it got really interesting there. Boyd sends Carl to find a girl. Dewey shows up to confront Boyd. He tells Boyd he wants him to get him some money. Boyd asks Dewey what's really going on. Dewey tells him about Daryl and that he needs his cousin gone. Boyd tells him to man up to Daryl and make him leave. And that was such a great scene. Now put your foot down, Dewey Crow. And I really like the way he said that. He's like, sometimes you gotta put your foot down, so put your foot down, Dewey Crow. And he was like, I thought that scene was really amazing, because it's true. Sometimes you gotta make him leave, because he's basically telling him, you're stupid, this is a stupid idea, and you shouldn't do it. So that's what Boyd basically tells him. So at the station, Mooney is told that Mara wants him to go by the house for a welfare check. He goes, turns out that Mara set him up, and Boyd is there to blackmail Mooney into lying for him. Boyd holds Mooney at gunpoint, tells me he has to convince the police that he killed Boyd. And I thought that whole scene was amazing, where he's like, if you want to stay alive, you have to lie about me. And I just thought that scene was amazing. I really love that. So, basically, at Boyd's bar, he and Mara discuss how to convince Raylan that Boyd is dead, and, this is probably the most, they have a lot of sexual tension going on between the two of them. He takes off his shirt so they can decide what part of his body to cut off, and while they talk, and while the talk is about removing body parts, the tension between the two is something different entirely. It seems a lot like, it definitely seems like that Boyd might actually cheat on Ava with Mara. I could definitely see that happening. In fact, Ava and Boyd are not really on good terms right now. Ava is not convinced that Boyd is going to get her out of there, and he's trying to tell her, I will get you out of there, so Ava and Boyd are not really on good terms. What do you think is going to happen to Ava and Boyd? I'm really not sure. We'll have to see. But, so Dewey tells Daryl to hit the road. Daryl laughs at Dewey, but tells him that Meeser has been ripping Dewey off. Meeser tells Dewey that Boyd put him up to it. Dewey's upset. Daryl tells Dewey he has to kill Meeser for stealing from him. And at the bar, Boyd is dressed again, having a drink when Carl shows up with a girl Boyd wanted him to kidnap because he said, go find a girl, and we find out what happened. Boyd asks the girl where Johnny is. She tells him that she doesn't know, and they take her phone to call Johnny. And that's where the episode ends. And Boyd's plot was just really, really great. If Boyd's plot would have been the whole episode, it would have been a perfect episode. Raylan's plot, I just did not find that interesting. I do have some questions about Boyd's plot, though. Where do you think this Mara thing is going to go? I kind of have this feeling that Boyd might actually cheat on Ava. I know how much he loves Ava, but I think he's starting to actually fall in love with this Mara girl. It seemed like a lot of, the way they were talking, they had a lot of sexual tension going on between the two of them, so I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen there. And again, Ava is starting to lose faith in Boyd, that he might not actually rescue her, so I'm thinking Boyd might not actually succeed at this, and they might leave Ava in prison till, the end of the show. I think that would be interesting, because let's think about this. In the beginning of the show, Boyd was the one in prison, Ava was with Raylan, and then after that, Ava was with Boyd. So I think Boyd's going to do the same thing. Boyd is going to be with Mara, but then when Ava gets back, he'll be with, but then when he gets Ava out of prison, he'll be with her. I think that's probably what's going to happen here. Also, where is Johnny? I kind of think that Johnny has actually made his own brothel, or maybe he's taken over what Raylan did in Harlan, because, Raylan's not there not Raylan, what Boyd's done. Because Boyd is not there right now, so I think that possibly Johnny might actually be taking over Boyd's business. I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen there. I'm expecting to see Johnny in the next episode. That's what I'm expecting is going to happen, is that Johnny is going to be in the next episode, and we're going to see what's going to have to happen with Johnny. But basically, that's it for this video. Also, Raylan's storyline. What do you think is going to happen with Allison? Do you think we can trust Allison? I think this is going to be a Lindsay situation where we're not going to be able to trust Allison and she's going to betray Raylan. I just hope they approach this differently because I liked Lindsay's storyline last year. I like the way they did it, but I don't want to see it again. I don't like it when they repeat things on this, I don't like repeated storylines, and I think this could end up being a repeated storyline unless they approach it differently. If they approach this differently, then fine. So next week looks like it's going to be interesting. Looks like Raylan's actually going to, go in the woods to inspect some sort of a case. We'll have to see what happens there. But that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Also, who is Dewey Crow going to work for now? Is he going to work for Boyd, or is he actually working with Daryl and there's something that Boyd doesn't know about? But that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be my review for, I don't know which one's coming next. I have the originals and Ravenswood. By the way, this review is so early because I don't have school today because we have a snow day. So I'll be able to put those reviews up early. So I'll see you guys for that. Bye.